Better products, better service, no headaches. Brentwood Line creates promotional products you can be proud to show your client. Whether your order is 24 pieces or 10,000 pieces, the Brentwood Line customer service team is ready to take the stress out of fulfilling your order.
Howdy. When I say howdy, we say howdy back, where I'm from. Howdy. There we go. All right. So she mentioned that I get to do the last session every single year. It's like give them lunch, make them tired, and then have Andy yell at them to wake them up. So my background, if you don't know this, I was a high school teacher of history before I started at Sage. So I like to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to make you raise your hand like 1,000 times, make sure you're awake. But there's two things that I learned being a high school teacher. One, I'm about to do a 50-minute session over AI and technology. So what I want you to do is, one, all of you should have Sage Mobile. We have an education day. You can go in there, find the education schedule. You can write notes, give us feedback because we need to know how things are going. You can say it was a great session, it was a bad session. I love all good criticism. It's all constructive. You got to do it that way. And then as a teacher, I want you to write down 5 things, just 5 things that I think you think is important for this session. And why is it just 5? Because what are y'all about to do for the next 3 days? You're going to go to that show. You're going to meet 1 million people. You're going to have 1 million meetings. You're going to have some drinks, nice restaurants. You're then going to go all the way home. You're going to get back home, and you're going to be like, so what did he talk about? What was his session over? And you'll have those 5 things that you can bring up and talk to your rep later. Now, a little personal note about me is, number 1, I love movies. I love movies. I actually love movies that were based off books. And you're probably like, why is he even telling us this? Well, it's going to start with my first slide, and it's also going to start with my first question. And that first question is going to be, we're here about AI, right? How long has AI been around? Based on this whole training session, AI this room, AI, it's brand new, I want to learn about it, yay. Seriously, how long has AI been around? Year and a half, 2 years, yeah. Well, Stanley Kubrick thought it was around in 1968 when he came out with a movie called 2001: A Space Odyssey, about a computer that learned everything and decided to go destroy everybody, right? Remember HAL, Hello Dave? That came out in 1968. Do y'all remember a movie in the 1980s called The Terminator? Wasn't that AI, Skynet? I mean, what is he now, the former governor of California? I mean, he is pretty much AI, but AI's been around forever. Now, this is more of an iRobot image. I'm not a big fan of that movie, but that's more of what that's like. But my point is this. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Raise your hand if you use Outlook. Oh, is Outlook AI? Have you ever written a sentence and it starts finishing the sentence for you? Have you ever said, no, I don't like that wording, I'm going to change it, and then you do it a couple of times, and then it starts showing you what you've changed it to? That's a learning system. That is AI. AI has been around. That's actually your friend. So the whole reason I'm telling you this is like, yes, is AI new and hip right now? Yes, but it's been around forever. And the one thing we need to learn is how can we take what is now coming out, what is new and everything else, and make sure we run our business to the best of its capabilities. That's really what I'm going to do here. Because most people are like, which one should I use? Should I do this? Should I use that? I don't know the answer to that. You're going to have to figure that out. You just need to understand there's going to be options out there. So with anything, we're going to look at some stats. So what is something without statistical proof? It's an opinion. Well, these are actual stats. So, and I love this. They gave the former teacher a laser pointer. I mean, this thing is awesome. It's like really good. So 95% of distributors do over 100 million use AI. That makes sense, right? Like, if you're running that many things, that much logistics, that's what they're using. You can probably understand how this graph is going to work its way down, right? 93%, $10 million to $100 million, that's what distributors said. 88%, 3 to 10 million, and then down here, 65% under 3 million. So these stats were provided by PPAI, actually, their 2025 State of the Innovation Report. So that's where we're getting these from. But then again, I just mentioned Outlook. You may not even know you're using AI already for certain things when it comes to that aspect of it. But The true question is, what if we could do this 10% better every day? I know 10% is not a big number, but I actually think it's a massive number. How many hours in a work week? Some of you are going to tell me 80. I'm going to go simple 40, okay? So that's 4 hours a week times 52 weeks. That's 200 hours. If I were to say, oh, you just do this one thing, I'm going to give you 200 hours back, right? Like, that's crazy to me. I would say 1%. Just give me 1% better. And then you start adding that up to get to 10%. But that's really is where this AI is coming into play. What can we do better every day? But the question is, when you're doing all this and you're talking about just this 10%, this is my question for you. People come into our booth all the time and they say, I want you to show me exactly how to use this module. And I say, I can't. And they're like, what do you mean you can't? And I said, well, I cannot show you to exactly use this the correct way without getting to know you first. If I were to ask 10 of you the same question, but I said you couldn't talk to each other, and I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to, on a piece of paper, write step by step every single thing that you do from the moment that I say, I'm interested in mugs, to that mug getting in my hands. Think about that for a second. From when I say I'm interested in a new mug, and then you get it to me. All the steps it takes. Do you go search for it? Do you build a presentation? Do you quote me? Do you say, go to my website? Do you do an order form? Are there proofs? You understand the sales cycle, right? But all of you, if I said, let's do it this way, some of you may have 10 lines. Some of you may have 5 lines. Some of you have 25 lines. I don't know. It's fine. We're all creatures of habit. We do things a certain way. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But that 10% can be utilized towards any of those steps. Some of them I may look at a step and say, whoa, we might want to break that into 4 steps, and then we can go give the 10% to those each steps will equal the same. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like not just, hey, 10% overall. It's going to be 10% just on something maybe at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. So, for example, let's do this roadmap. Start small, okay? Try one simple, low-risk AI tool first. What I mean by start small, if my daughter's 4 years old and says, Daddy, I want to learn to ride a bike, I'm like, cool, here's a Harley, let's go. No, you don't want to do that. You want to start small. We're going to figure out one of the steps first. You're not going to just go diving into like something that's going to affect your whole sales cycle. Please start small to do this, because why? Once you start small, then you can start looking in data, seeing if things are changing. Like, how is this affecting us? Is it moving faster? Is it moving slower? Is it making us more efficient or not? Then, once you finally get those results, you can start scaling. Let's try it on something else. Let's do another step. Let's add it to this, whatever it might be. Again, I don't know exactly what step you're adding this to, but it could be something as simple as just saying, hey, we're going to add it now to our response time, to our customer service, to our replying. Everything that you're doing to get that item, that mug in my hands, let's do it. And then once you think that you've been the most efficient, you've hit it all, you've used AI for every step, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, we are flying, we're doing great. Don't settle. Be curious. Do I have any Ted Lasso fans out there? Raise your hand. How many of you remember the dart scene? Be curious, right? Ask questions, always finding out if there's another answer, there's a better answer out there. Stay there, ask questions, see if something else. Every one of you have probably been using AI for the last 10 years, and all of you have attended at least one AI session probably this week because you're curious. What else is out there? How is this going to help? It's the new thing. There's always going to be some new steps out there, right? I'm going to give you just a prime example. Like, my donut shop will text me if I don't show up for like a week and a half. They're like, are you okay? You haven't been by. I mean, that is something so simple. They're not doing it. That's AI. They've set it up to automatically know when's the last time I purchased and anything like that. So that is something so simple, just as kind of a story for me that I deal with when it comes to those types of things. And all it is just a text message. But innovation isn't always something new. It's just doing what you do better. Raise your hand if you have a cell phone. Raise your hand if you used a rotary phone. It's nothing new. It's a phone. It's just been innovated. It's just better. Now, trying to get my 80-year-old father to get to a cell phone, now that's a different story. Trying to tell a very small town country folk, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm fine with my phone. Dad, you need to get a cell phone. Innovation to him may be scary. But you know what I told him? I said, what if I told you, rather than trying to find my phone number or call the wrong brother or whatever, I can literally just say, press number 1 down on your phone and it calls me, or press number 2 down and it calls me. Like, there are so many things with innovation that happen. How many of you are still using a phone book? Exactly. It doesn't have to be something new. It's just doing what you do better. That's what innovation is for. So, how is AI used in business? I know most of you already know the answers to all these questions and what it's going to be useful for, but improving customer service, providing product recommendations and trends, analyzing customer satisfaction, content generation, and enhancement. Let's just start with the first one, improving customer service. I already mentioned the donut story, right, for just improving customer service. In your brain, think about how can you improve your customer service. So what is the most annoying thing to you? What is the most annoying thing to me? That's what I think of, and how can I make my customer service better? I can probably guess what your most annoying thing with me is I emailed him, I called him, why hasn't he responded? Response time, that's usually number 1. Number 2 is he did respond, but he didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. I have a problem with that sometimes too, so I apologize. But response time, everything else. Or customer service of letting people know where things are. Something's been shipped, something's been, provided, notifications, like asking questions. Are you happy with your service when it comes to improving customer service, right? There's so many different things when customer service is between you and the client. Now, there's the other side. That's the great thing about this industry, right? You're dealing with 2 customer services. You're having to order a product from a manufacturer, so there's customer service on that aspect, but then there's customer service when you're providing the item to me, because you're the middleman, and there's 3 sides to every story, right? There's that side, this side, and the truth somewhere in the middle. Well, how can you always make sure that customer service is good? Now, I haven't learned after 15 years, to be good customer service to my own wife. So I'm trying to figure out how this AI can help me. You know what it does? It reminds me about every little thing she's told me to do and sets alarms on my phone for me to go do this. That helps me out. Something as simple as that. Providing product recommendations and trends. How many of you have had a conversation with a friend or just in a group, and the next thing you know, your phone starts giving you ads for whatever you were talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like, why is this? Oh, it's showing me luggage because I mentioned my mother's luggage is terrible and we need to get her a new one. Okay. Or, anything from hotels, beaches, or any question, any topic, right? That's where that's coming into play. How many of you been on a certain website to where you're looking at purchasing something and what shows at the bottom? Other people bought this item along this item since you're looking at it. Suggestions, right? You know who it is. It's the elephant in the room. But that's life we live in, right? Everything's got a suggestion, how to do things like that when it comes to providing product details. And what's crazy is that providing product recommendations and trends, it doesn't even have to be about just trends on our products. There is so much out there. How many of y'all have seen that commercial where there's the guy that's like, I'm interested in this girl who's my friend, but I want to be more than friends, but I don't want her to know that I want to be more than friends. And it gives him a playlist of songs and what to cook her for dinner. And I'm like, I had brothers or I had friends I had to talk to about this. This is where AI is when it's giving you ideas, and it doesn't just have to be about products or just what you're doing. It can be useful in anything. Analyzing customer satisfaction. Well, that's easy. Did you like this? Did you like that? Tell us about your experience. This has been around for years, but do you remember to ask that every single time? Do you remember to ask specific questions on what they did? because they're all ordering different stuff. The last thing you want to do is like, what do you think about the bags I got you? I'm like, well, you didn't give me bags, you gave me mugs. So that's where the AI comes into play, that it can pick up on certain features, things, and everything else like that. And it's always asking because data, data, data. The first thing I ask y'all to do is please go onto Sage Mobile, look at the education, and rate people, right? Because again, without data, without stats, it's just an opinion. This is where analyzing customer satisfaction comes into play, asking questions. And again, if you start looking at your whole sales cycle when it comes to these things, I guarantee customer satisfaction is at the lowest wherever you see you're taking the most time to complete the project of getting that item in their hands. That's where they're probably the most upset. Why is this taking so long? Why does this take so long? Whereas I'm sure y'all have ordered something from that company that literally gives you text message updates. It says, you are the 16th stop on the 47th stop of this trip that I'm doing of packages. You know who I'm talking about. That's all AI. That's what they're using to where you know where it's going to be, when it's happening, and everything else. And then last, content generation and enhancement. We're going to get into this a little bit more when it comes to these types of things. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, content generation and enhancement can be your absolute best friend and your worst enemy at the exact same time. And we're going to go into that in more detail, and I'll explain it more. But content generation, everything else, it's going to be your best friend from a time-saving efficiency-wise, but it could be your worst enemy if you don't understand the human element and how a lot of your customers love the human element of the sales cycle and everything else that's going on. Okay? So, spotting high-impact AI opportunities. Can you change the logo on this from school to college? In 1980, how long would this have taken you to do? Y'all are laughing, but it's a serious question. In 1980, how long would this have taken you to do? Second part of that question is, how much would it cost you to get it done? I've heard distributors tell me that a client tried to order something and they provided their artwork on a napkin. Now we're in the world where we literally can type in, change this from school to college, and it's done. To me, that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. We were talking about 10%. I'm talking about that's 10% right there alone, just on some kind of AI field. And I know earlier we had the session where he was going through all the different things and providing images and all the different features that we have in Sage, but this just is crazy to me. This is so simple. But now let's take it one little step further, okay? Create step-by-step workflow for onboarding a new client for a promotional products distributor. It's just going to keep going. I'm just being quiet because I just want y'all to see this just to keep going and going and going and going and going. Just to create a workflow for a new distributor and steps to get onboarding for them. Now, this is great, right? All of this is a lot of information. This is stuff that has been provided, and it's taking data points from everybody else that has done something along this. If you have never been a manager before, if you've never had to step into a role that you've done before, if you've never had to train someone on something you've done before, everybody's different, everything's out there, but this right here just does all of it. Like, I want to ask the same AI that's providing all these answers, what do you provide your wife when you've already bought her every purse and shoe from here to whatever the last 10 years to make her happy? There's no answer to that, right? Never going to be happy. But you just buy her another pair. These are the ones you haven't bought before. So this is exactly what this is doing, for example. It's just giving you details step by step. But remember I always said content and all this other stuff could be your biggest friend, but it also can be your biggest foe? Number one, avoid shadow IT. Does anybody raise your hand if you know what that is? This is where your employees start using AI without permission without going through the proper channels, and it's not an improved AI system, and they don't understand that they have now provided personal and financial information that you should never, ever, ever allow AI to have access to or to ever gain. Now, shadow IT can be avoided because every person that uses any type of AI needs to have their own user settings, basically to where they are licensed to use it. On top of that, there are most AI generation, any type of companies or things that are out there also have basically access rights where you can say, I don't want to share any of my personal, financial information, anything sensitive. Let's just put this in the aspect of Netflix. I get a Netflix subscription. I'm not giving my 10-year-old son full access to what's on Netflix. I'm creating his own user, and I am putting an age limit and everything else on there, and I am password protecting everything else. That's what this is. For all of you that use Sage right now, you all are users on our user-based system, and you have access rights. It's the same thing for you. But this way, you're protecting yourself from allowing this random company that operates off data to have access to all of your personal and financial information. So you have to be extremely careful with that. Now, I probably should have started with this, but that square QR code will take you to some of the risk and everything of AI and how to avoid that. So if you do want to scan that QR code, it'll take you to a website to look at that. Number 2, establish an acceptable use policy, AUP. Basically, this is guidelines, right? It gives employees clear guidelines on what tasks are appropriate and what are not. Use examples of how this should be used, right? Like, this is where you go in and say, this is what we've come up with AI. This is how it's supposed to be used. This is what you need to use it for as examples. And then basically have them all sign off on it to where they can go through, test it out, and everything else to make sure that it's working. So the AUP is very important. Emphasize data safety and training. Now, this is an ongoing joke for us in our own company. Every year, we have to do, it's required, an email security training. And the email security training, the number one reason that email security happens is because of one thing. And we all say it in unison as a company. What do you think that one thing is that causes the most email security issues? Human error. I didn't mean to click on that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to open that. I mean, we go through email after email, example after example after example, where it literally will be an email from you that you have sent me from 2 years before, have the exact same text in it, and says, here's a payment for my invoice. And unless I'm smart enough to know, like, why is he sending me this? I haven't sent him an invoice for this. And I go click it, it's a virus. It's that simple. Human error, that's where it comes in. It's the number one thing with AI. That's why you have these two things at the top before emphasize data safety and training. Because when you're training them, you're going to give them examples of what not to do, right? Do not do this. Go through every example of what's possible because human error is the number one thing where someone enters something they should not have entered. We need your Social Security to continue. Yeah, I'm not giving you that number. Sorry. I'm smart enough on that aspect of it. So human error is the biggest thing that happens for this. Now, here's where you're going to laugh at me because you're like, so he's talking about human error is the number one reason that all these issues happen, but then his next point literally says, always include human review. So you want the person reviewing who's doing all the errors? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? So I always want to have to explain this a little more detail. Yes, human error is the number one reason that AI or anything out there like that can be harmful to you and your company. That's why you have all the guidelines. But remember when I said that content generation and everything can be useful, could be your biggest friend or your biggest foe, and it's the human person, it's the human interaction. The reason I love Vegas so much and I love this show, I get to see all of you. It may be my one time a year, but I've been doing business with some of you for 15, 16 years. I see you every year at this show, or every other year. When you're doing business with someone, I know y'all are in a different situation, like especially for me, but when I've been doing business with someone for 15 years and I've only met them 5 times, I really enjoy that time talking to them. But over those 15 years, they've gotten used to me, how I talk. Again, my parents are from a small town country, like using the word y'all and howdy and hello and yes ma'am, no ma'am, like that's me talking. If I write an email and I use AI, I guarantee any of my customers the first time they read that email would say, he didn't write that. He didn't even look at that. That's not him. 1, he didn't call me my nickname. 2, he didn't make fun of himself. And 3, there's not a misspelled word that he probably thinks is the correct spelling of a word. Now, that last part's a joke because Outlook underlines and it helps me correct it. But point being is that it's the human interaction. The last thing you want, yes, for efficiency and getting stuff out, that's great. For all the contacts that you do in that business transaction that is personal, this is my friend or this is someone doing business for that long, this is really where that comes into play and it can be harmful. Because you don't want to make some of your best clients just another number in an algorithm, just another thing that's just going out. But at the same time, using AI, you can tell these same people, look, I used to never tell you when your package was shipped, or I used to have to wait a day or 2. Now you're going to get an automatic notification when your package ships. You're going to get an automatic notification when this happens in the steps. You're going to get an automatic notification, and then it notifies me, and I'm going to pick up the phone and call you, make sure everything's all right. So you still can maintain that personal, relationship you've had with that client, but also take advantage of all the other stuff. So that's the big difference. Yes, data safety, biggest issues are because of us, the human error. But in another way of saying human error, you can do that in a way if you just let AI take over for everything and you lose the bonding and human interactions that you guys have with your clients. That's why I just wanted to make sure that you were aware how they're different, okay? So, how many of you were in the first session today? Raise your hand. Good. Okay, we're going to jump into some of these Sage features. Now, if you were in the first session, I'm going to repeat some of those features. I'm just giving you a heads up. And secondly, what was the first step on the roadmap? Start. I'm not going to show you everything. Why? Because you can come by the booth and see the rest of them, or you can go to the answer station. But I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm going to show you some of them. So I'm in the Windows app. And people used to ask me, I need some ideas. I need some ideas. I need some ideas. Give me some ideas. And we used to always say, well, go to the theme box. So we had the theme box right here that you go type in ideas. So y'all learned about the smart search. How many of you even knew about the idea wizard that was already here? This has been here for a while. So you click on this idea wizard, and you can come in here and say, all right, I have a 5K winter event, gift ideas, get ideas. Now, just to go ahead and do some product searches, it's going to come up with stuff. I'm not trendy. I'll admit it. 1, I'm colorblind, and I'm not trendy. I mean, that's 2 double whammies. So, customized beanies, insulated water bottles, fleece blankets, hand warmers, you get the gist, right? Like all the different things. Now, when you do a product search for these and just go ahead and click on search it, it's going to pull up not only all of the ideas and everything that you just typed in that search, but the number one thing that I love about Sage is since it's your database and you can modify how the data shows up with all your suppliers, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please make sure that's one of your points that you're writing down when it comes to preference groups. It will pull up all the different items that are showing up right here. If I like it, I can just close this out or I can save the search. And notice how this sort appears preference groups. It automatically is pulling up my preferred vendors and everything. Okay? How many of you use our presentation tool? Raise your hand. Okay. Second question. How many of you use our CRM tool? Raise your hand. Okay. Every single person write this down as one of their 5. Andy yelled at me and said, I am not efficient if I do not use the Sage CRM tool. And I'm going to prove it to all of you right now with one question. You ready? Raise your hand if you have 0 contacts saved in your phone. Anybody see any hands? Why would you not have your simple contact information in our CRM tool if you're using our presentations?
Because it doesn't import off of my contacts on my Mac.
I can do it. I can put it in Excel format. We have an Excel sheet. We can get it in there for you. We have multiple ways. This is not a CRM training. I'm just letting you know because the next 2 features I'm about to show you, it only works if you're using the CRM tool. That's how important it is. I'm talking basic information, contact information, email, phone number. We don't need all the other stuff. We just need the basic information. So, as you can see, I already have a client in the introduction as a CRM. I already have items in the presentation that I did from my idea search. All I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here and I can say, create intro text. And it's going to take the client that we have in the CRM tool in there, and it's going to take the items in there, and it's going to even look, Winter Charity 5K event. It's already doing it there. We have some promotional perks to boost your stuff, from gloves to bottles and tumblers. It's looking at the items in there. It's taking all of that data, and it's doing it. Now, what was the last step that I said we needed to do when we're using AI? Human review. I'm not that smart, and I don't talk like that. And your customers will notice that real quick. So, not only can you take what's already in there, you can highlight it, make it shorter, make it sound better, make it longer, do different languages, whatever you want. I wish it would say make it hillbilly, and then it would be perfect, and we'd be great, right? Make it sound better, whatever. Any rich text editor word section that you have on any of these in the presentation can be utilized with the AI generator. That goes from even the product descriptions. Do you see the size of this description? You can highlight this, make it shorter. I don't need the client reading a 6-paragraph thing just to figure out what the imprint area is. You can do that on all the items for everything there. You can do it on closings. You can do it on all of it to where you see anything that says enhance, you can do it with this AI feature. Enhance after you type it, going through all of it. Okay. A bunch of you raised your hand. What if I said to you, who would like to learn to do and build a presentation without having to do anything? Raise your hand. Huh. You're like, so he's telling me I have to do, as my father would say, nothing. I'm like, there's a G in there, Dad. It's nothing, not nothing.
Is this only available in Windows?
No.
Sage Online?
Sage Web too. Go to New, Presentation Wizard. This is in Sage Web, I promise. So you use the CRM tool, come in here, and we can call this PPAI Expo Demo. Now, you're going to notice one thing. You have to pick a client. So we're going to pick Chevy. And we're going to do the description. Trade show booth, give away ideas. Template. My default template, how many items? Now, the max is 25 items, and then the products, and you can do your supplier preference groups. Again, if you don't know what a supplier preference group is, please ask me. I'm going to keep this very simple, and I'm going to click Create Presentation. While this is thinking, imagine what it's doing right now. It's doing the idea generator that we started with, right? It's doing that. for all the different ideas. It's then saying, all right, I'm going to pick 10 products out of those ideas. Then he asked for me to do this for a specific client that's in the CRM tool, which may have a bunch of information like, oh, this is a construction company, this is a banking company, this is whoever it else. And then it went ahead and it just decided to then write the introduction and everything on the presentation on my default template for me. So what did I do? I typed in, I just need these ideas for this client. Do it, Sage. Done. Again, review that. That is one long introduction. None of you write an introduction that long. I take that back, maybe a few of you, but very ones that I've seen. So, we're thrilled to present you a range of promotional products that are perfect for your upcoming event, the PPI Expo Demo. From stylish backpacks, blah, 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 blah. It went and did it for you. So not only do you have to call me more and say like, hey, Andy, give me some ideas. Hey, I don't know how to do this in the presentation. It's automatically building all this, writing the introduction and doing that for you. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. So that was simply just the Sage aspect of it. Now, I know that some of you know this, but we have 3 different levels of websites. Our top level is called the Plus website. Raise your hand if you are a web developer or if you have someone on staff that is strictly a web developer or is a website person that's in control of your website. Raise your hand. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe this is not for you, but it could be for you. But did you notice you're 5 out of how many people in here? Who has time to make changes to a website? Who actually wants to even learn how to make changes to a website? I'm a computer major. I have to learn this stuff, but I don't want to go when I get an email about PDF updates. I'm not reading them. I don't care. You know, I don't need to know about PDFs. We're creatures of habit, right? Let's stay in our lane. Let's do what we want to do. Well, on this aspect of it, if you have our Plus website, look at this. Create blog text. PPAI event, Vegas, trade show, gift, ideas, create blog text, think about it AI, talk about it, what are you doing, what are you coming up with? Again, this has so many different things. Y'all have seen it with, I mentioned the story earlier about the guy wanting to take the girl on the date and giving ideas, or the playlist, or even the logo. This literally will write a whole blog for you that is yours. Okay? I'm not going to read through all of this. But on our Plus website, if you're having that automatic content and blogs that we're adding for you, do you know how many random things I get requested for when it came to blogs? I want one about NASCAR. Not making that up. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to put NASCAR in here, but I will figure out a way to get a blog. Well, guess what? You can go have your own blog created on NASCAR. Whatever topic you want. Doesn't even have to be promotional products. Let's say that promotional products is just 10% of what you do. You can have these blogs created about the other primary portions of your business. There's no additional charge. It's already with your Plus website. Here's my favorite one, though. Have y'all ever needed an artist? You have needed an artist before? Have you ever had someone as an artist? How much did that cost you custom-wise to have an artist create something for you? What if I told you that here on the back end, we now have the image generator that's been back here for a long time where you can have us create whatever image you want. And it's your image, and you can use it. Andy yelling at everyone at a software conference. Generate image. Let's see what this comes up with. I bet it's probably one of the other ones I've seen when I've been running the test for this just to see how it can populate. Perfect. He's even got the headset to match. Less hair, but same color. We got that. This is what I'm talking about, though. It can be anything that you want. It's your image. You can have as many created as you want. This is at the tip of your fingers to where you can use these, save these, put them in any of your blogs, marketing, whatever else you want. So not only are you getting now something as simple as creating blogs and text and everything else with AI, you also have it to where you have this image creator to where you can create as many images as you want. Remember how we talked about it earlier? Please change this from school to college. And I asked, how long did that take you in 1980? This is how quickly this is done today. If you don't like this image, you're like, no, that's not really what I'm looking for, you can change the text or whatever else and then just say, regenerate image, and then it'll come up with a different one. Now, I always love to tell my customers, since this is AI and everything else, that there are some things that you got to be careful about. And y'all have heard about this, trademarks. If you type in trademarks, a certain word that you know that you don't have access to resell, but you keep trying, like put this logo on it, put this logo on it, by about the 150th time, it may actually put the logo on it. That's not our fault. Don't do it. Stop. If it's trademarked, it's trademarked, right? You know who you're authorized to sell and who you're not authorized to sell. So just make sure that's on there. But it's smart enough to not do it the first 5,000 times you try it. That looks kind of like the same guy, but I like they're all laughing in the front at him. Point being is like, this is what this is for. This is your friend. This is to help you with those shortcuts and everything else. I get asked all the time, I want my website to look completely different from everybody else's. I just gave you the option to do it. You can have whatever image you want created. It's yours. And say, this is what I want on my website. We unfortunately do not have an unlimited library full of images. Okay, so unless you want to be fully custom, you're going to have to help us too, but we're giving you the tools to do it, to go create these images, for sure. So this is how it works within the AI of here, and then obviously you go through any of the other settings within the site settings. When you get to homepage, all of that type of information, anytime there's a rich text editor, you're going to be able to see right here where it says AI, generate image, enhance text, all that too, within your website. So it's spread out all across. Y'all following me? Okay. So these were all the things that I wanted to show you with inside the Sage platform. Like I said, start small. That way that you're not just jumping into all the other different types of things. But I'm going to jump back into my presentation because there's a couple of few things I want to go through the checklist. So when you do a training, I used to teach this when I was in high school. When you're doing any type of training, you're supposed to, let's see if y'all finish this, the third one. Tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and then you tell them what you said. I love it. Like all of you are salespeople. You know this. Okay, good. All right, what do we start with? Choose one workflow that you think where the AI could save you time this month. Remember, start small. Unless you grew up where I grew, no one jumped into the deep end first to learn how to swim. They started in the shallow end. But I was raised differently, so I got thrown in the deep end really quick. He'll be all right. So you got to start small. Do not go add this to some major step within your framework of from start to finish like we discussed. Don't do it. Start small. Next, track your results. Did it make a measurable difference? Data, data, data. The more data, the better you have. If you don't have data, it's just an opinion. Data's going to support it. Make sure that it's better. Build from there. That's the whole stay curious. Again, Ted Lasso, if I had a believe sign, I'd be holding it up right now. Stay curious, ask questions. Is there something better? There is always something better. That doesn't mean you got to use it, but at least ask the question, is there something better? You being here right now in this training room means that you're trying to see if there's better things out there, so it's proof in the pudding there. Last, AI isn't about replacing humans, it's about freeing you up to do more. Remember what I said? Yes, it's here to do more, it's here to help you out, but the worst thing you can do is lose that human interaction and element when you're doing things. Make sure that you can do things the best as possible, but don't lose all of the different interactions that you can do. And last but not least, The first thing I said was, what if you could do something, what percent? 10%. I was supposed to speak for 50 minutes. Do you know how long I've been speaking for? 45. I just gave you the most expensive gift alive, time. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good rest of your day.